Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, where we provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is the Mallorca Connection, and we're going to be talking about how you can overcome challenges living and working in a motorhome. Am I in a motorhome? No, I am not. So I'm not the expert. The expert is the star of our show, Mr. Roland.friedl. Let's welcome him to the program. Hi, Roland.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. Great to see you again, and hello to our audience. Thanks for joining.
Great to see you again. You've been off for a couple of weeks. I know you haven't been sedentary. You always had something going on. So if you'd share with our audience, what is the work that you do and how can you help our audience?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, actually, I have a business background. I was always in business. I was in the corporate world, had a successful career. I left it quite early, started my own business in different industry, nutrition industry, technology, kitchen stuff, water filtration system, many different stuff. Some have been very successful, and to be honest, two failed. I was very grateful for that because it was an amazing learning experience. And as I'm running a training consulting company in Switzerland since over 2.5 decades, these two failures, I guess, is a huge benefit for my clients to help them not to do the same mistakes that I did. So I have a business background. That's my main business. I do process optimizations. I train sales staff, managers. I do group coaching, online coaching, in one-to-one executive coaching. So that's my main business. That's what I absolutely love. But I also I actually had to call today with a guy. I support startups, small companies, single entrepreneurs, helping them to get a good business plan and a financial plan. Actually, we did some shows on that, Dr. JACALYN. So because most businesses fail not because of the idea, because there's not a solid business plan and especially a financial plan. So I also support small companies, starters on that. That's the main stuff I'm doing. Besides that, I'm very passionate about respecting Mother Earth. I run a foundation that's called Respecting Mother Earth. Actually, the day before this show, we did the Planet Earth show, how we can save water, be more respectful with the amazing and really important source of water. So I do a lot of stuff there, and I dedicate my life also to men's work since 2020, so 4 years now. And yeah, besides that, I love to be a part of this USA Global TV and Radio, I would say family. For me, it's like a family. And I'm happy to be back. I didn't come for 2 weeks because I was in a bad area with a no network. But this is one of the challenges you're facing when you live in a motor, and we'll talk about that later. So we do this Mallorca connection on a weekly basis, on Monday, same time, same procedure. On Monday, the hour before, we do the Planet Earth show every second week, and every other second week we do It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. For me, a very important show, because without health, we all know life doesn't make sense. It isn't fun. I did the Earth show. I did a wonderful show actually. Wild at Heart, a men's show. We had 50 shows 1 year running with men's work that I'm doing a lot. And I'm very happy that I could join as a talking head and share my experience in small chunks for businesses. That's what I'm doing. I mean, the day has 24 hours, the month and the week has 7 days, as I say. So there's always a lot of stuff to do.
Thank you, Roland. That's quite a lot. And when I first met you, which I think was a year and a half, 2 years, I don't even know, you were living on the island of Mallorca.
September, October, it's 2 years, I guess.
2 years,
something like that.
Yeah. And you were living on the island of Mallorca, and I believe you were also running yoga retreats at the time, and you were cooking food for people who were there, a beautiful space. And then you decided to say sayonara and hit the road. Tell us about that whole process, and then we'll get into the challenges.
Yeah, well, I've always been traveling around the globe for business, but also for vacation. And when I mean vacation, not checking in a four-star hotel and spending all the time on the pool or at the buffet. No, I was always traveling because I love to get in touch with other people, with cultures, religions, languages, or love to look into mommy spots and love to know about the recipes they're cooking. So I'm really interested in the world and people. I always did traveling. And actually, from 2008 to 2022, for 14 years, the island of Mallorca was my home base. And the reason for that is I choose Mallorca. It's actually one of the most beautiful islands in the world. You have mountains, you have lakes, but also you have the sea around, beautiful lakes, beautiful beaches, nice climate. At the time, it was one of the best, actually the only spot I know, vacation spot, where you can fly also out of season, meaning 12 months a year. You can fly to every business connection to London, Paris, direct flights to New York, Boston, Rome, Scandinavian countries, wherever. So Germany, Austria, and so on. So that's why I choose Mallorca, because at the time I had a lot of international businesses I had to consult, so I had to fly. And that's why I choose Mallorca. It was an amazing place. And as I said, the week is 7 days, the day is 24 hours. In my free time, when I was not traveling, I was organizing yoga retreats in Mallorca. So I'm a yoga teacher, but I didn't teach yoga. So I hosted yoga groups. So yoga teachers come with their yoga students, and I rented out the rooms for them. I gave them a space with a huge land around, a huge pool area, and I was cooking for them. Yeah, and I was giving massages to the clients too. So I was working all the time. But to be honest, for me, it's not work. I just love what I'm doing. Yeah, that's what I was doing. And to be honest, then the pandemic came. Everything was shut down. There was no business. The land was huge. The house was huge, and I had I kind of, maybe you call it a depression. I don't know if everything is a depression. I became a kind of depression. And my girlfriend at the time said, please don't burn down the house, because I was really sitting there. And I said, I hate the house. And the reason for that was because I figured out that the house is owing me. It was a lot of money that I have to spend every month. There's a lot about taking care, renovating, organizing this, organizing that. And I said, my goodness, the house is beautiful. It's large, it's beautiful, but it owned me. And so I bought this motorhome 6 years ago. I got it 5 years ago. Yeah, I had 1 year of it. I bought this motorhome. I used it for vacation, for traveling. And I said, no, I want to move in my motorhome. I saw a lot of videos about people living in a motorhome. I said, I want to do that. And my girlfriend said, no, she wants the house. So I kept the house for her. But I didn't like it anymore because, to be honest, it was too much work. At the end, it was too much work. I love it. I never regret it. I had a beautiful time there. I had a beautiful time also with this yoga groups there. I really loved it. But at the end, I said, no, it's too much. I want to have more time for myself. I want to travel more. And to be honest, I want to have less cost. That's one reason too. Just saving money, because it was really very expensive. So the motorhome was there. And I said, okay, moving. I decided, to be honest, I came back from a 4-month travel in end of August 2001. I came back from a 4-month travel, and I came back to the island. Yes, 31st of August 2021. I came back, and then the owner of the house. It was not mine. I didn't buy it. I rented it for a hell of money, and then the owner said she wanted a 33% increase of the rent. I said, "What? My goodness, that's a hell of money." I offered her 7%. She said no, and so I was thinking about, okay, I have to get out of the house. I have to find something new, and then I separated from my girlfriend, and she wanted to travel more. So I said, okay, perfect spot. I move into my motorhome. and I did it. Sorry.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, that's a huge life change. And did you plan anything? So in other words, you're living in this beautiful home. You've got beautiful views. I remember when I first met you and started interviewing, I was like, wow, this is a beautiful scene, a beautiful setup that you have. How did you mentally prepare yourself to change from that open space to being in a motorhome and then traveling from here or there, not being in the same place if you don't want, or staying in the same place with your motorhome? How did you mentally prepare?
Well, as I said before, the last 2 years, I just kind of hated the house because it owed me. So I want to get rid of it. Anyway. And the other thing is, I was always traveling. Mallorca was my home base, but I was always traveling. I would say that I have some, sorry for that, but I have some gypsy blood. I love to travel. Like I'm honest, I cannot sit too long on the same spot. This is one thing. The second thing is, I guess one of the benefits I have, I love challenges. I love to change spots, places. I can adapt very quick to new situations, to new events, to new people. That doesn't challenge me. I love this. And secondly, to be honest, I'm not attached to anything or anyone, to be honest. It may sound a little bit rude, but I'm not attached. So I can enjoy, I don't know, a luxury clock that I had when I stole in Spain. I can enjoy luxury cars I had. I can enjoy this amazing house or whatever it is. I can enjoy it for a certain time. And when it's done, it's done. I'm not attached to it. It's a new area, and that's coming in. So I can enjoy things, but I'm not attached to it. So yeah, because to be honest, we are here just to visit us on the planet. When our mortal body, when we die, we cannot take anything with us. So I'm absolutely not attached to anything. So, and again, I can enjoy it. So it was quite easy. But to be honest, to be very honest, I remember I came back to Austria because my motorhome was in a garage in Austria. And I had to prolong my driving license, my truck driving license, because my motorhome is a little bit larger, so you need a truck driving license here in Europe. And to prolong it, and I remember at 6 in the morning, I was driving my car down to this government where they issue my the new driving license. 6 in the morning, and I had this mind fuck, this monkey mind. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not living in the house anymore. I'm homeless, living even it's a luxury motor. And I was scared. I really had anxieties about the future. It took me an hour or something like that, and I said, and I stopped and said, what are you talking about? You can always find another home if you want. Actually, the motorhome is quite large. Actually, it's for 6 persons, so it's quite large. It's luxury. What's going on? And the funny thing is, like the Jacalyn, in the afternoon, I met a very good friend. We became friends 38 years ago, a long time. He's 10 years older than me, a rich guy. And I told him the story because we have a very open, a really man's conversation. We're just talking about tits and beer. We just really talk about the real stuff. And I said, Eric, this morning, 6 in the morning, I had so much anxieties about my future. And he said, you know what? Sometimes I have it too. I said, oh, you have millions on your account. I said, yeah, but when it's gone, I'm scared too. So it's not about the bank account or the money, it's just in here. But I had some anxieties, yeah, absolutely, in the beginning. And the thing is, when you move from a house to a motorhome, you say, what's going on? I'm kind of homeless. And the second thing is, I started this journey alone. I was always I was married 2 times. I was always in a long-term relationship. I was married 2 times, 15 years, also with the girlfriends before and afterwards. I was always in a long relationship. It is the first time moving from a safe place like a house into a motorhome and doing this by myself alone. It was challenging, yes. I had some anxieties, yes, but it gave me a chance to grow and to know myself better.
Roland, one of the things I think is so cool about what you're doing is that nobody knows where you are, per se. You could just come and go as you please. You don't have to check in with anyone, right? You say, you wake up today, you go, hey, I'm done with this place. I'm moving on to another place. So in terms of challenges, is that challenging trying to figure out where it is that you can stay? Because you can't just park anywhere, I imagine.
Yeah. I don't know how the situation in the US, but here in Europe, there's a huge trend. A lot of people are buying young people, they're small campers, and then there are more people like my age, end 40s, 50s, 60s. They buy more luxury ones, the larger ones, and when they retire or when they give up their business in their 40s, 50s, and they move into motorhome. So it's a huge trend here. And with the pandemic, a lot of people have been scared to go to a hotel, to come close to other people. So they bought a motorhome. So there's a huge trend was going on the last 3 years. And, with a lot of people, it's more challenges and more stress, especially on hotspots, like, on the coast sides, on lake sides. The residents living there really have been pissed off with the situation, because there are a lot of van lifers are coming in motorhomes, and the new ones, they don't know the rules. They leave the garbage, they stay there for a week or longer, especially on the weekends. So people living on the coast, the residents, they couldn't go to the beach because everything was occupied by this large motorhome. So a lot of stress was coming up. And so the government and the authorities had to react on that. So there's a lot of restrictions. I spent last winter in Andalusia, in Spain, and in Portugal. And in Portugal, especially in the Algarve, there are a lot of restrictions. You cannot even come close to the beach with your motorhome. 5 miles before it said no entry. So there are more and more restrictions. So it's more and more difficult to find nice spots where you can stay overnight. Some countries like Croatia, Slovenia, they fine you a lot of money when you stay in the wild. Just not camping, just parking and sleeping. It's forbidden. You have to go to a camping site. And the camping sites in Croatia, actually, I don't know if you're familiar with Croatia. It was part of Yugoslavia before, and now it's many years. It's its own country, Croatia, and they are part of the European community. And they changed their currency that was called kuna now to the euro. So they also have the euro since a few months, and they doubled the prices. Everything. So Croatia is one of the most expensive countries now. So you pay more than $100 for spending one night on a camping site. So it's changing. So to answer your question, it's challenge. Sometimes really challenging in some parts of the world or in Europe to find a spot to stay overnight. In high season, camping sites are overbooked, so you're going to find a place, and it's more and more difficult to stay in the wild. That's one challenge. The other challenge, especially with myself, when you have a larger motorhome. Because even out of season, when it's easy to find a place, it was difficult for me. There's one app, I don't know if it's familiar in the US here, but in Europe we use it. It's called Park for Night, where van lifers can use this app and find a new place and put the coordinates in and make maybe photographs and a description and stuff like that. And it happened to me many, many times that I used one of these places, but I couldn't enter because I was too large, because it's just van life, with the small vans, they filling this app with information. So this was especially last winter, especially in North Spain, because North Spain out of season, a lot of the camping sites have been closed, and I couldn't stay in the wild, especially on the rough coast, because there were not enough spots and they were too small for me. This was sometimes challenging. Actually, once in Portugal, the police were knocking on my door around midnight. I said, "No, you can stay here." So you just fall asleep and you have to drive again. It's more and more challenging to find a place to stay overnight. Yeah, it is. That's one of the challenges.
And Roland, is it possible that you can anticipate where you're going to be at the end of the day, and then you call and say, "Hey, do you have any space for my motorhome? It's this size or the other size." Is it done like that, or is it done online, or do you just pray and hope that when you get there, they have space?
Yeah, and I don't go very often to camping sites. To be honest, it's expensive. I don't need it because I'm fully autark. I have a lot of solar panels. I can the sun. I don't need electricity. Actually, when I travel alone, every 2 weeks I need to fill up my water. As I said in the show before, I don't spend a lot of water when I'm showering. I shower, of course, but I don't. I save water. When a girl is with me, I guess in 3 days I'm out of water because I haven't got a shower for a long time. But anyway, so I try to avoid camping sites because they're mostly very crowded, and some people, this. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. There's some older generation, camping, and yeah, not my audience. Not my audience. So I try to stay in the wild, or I go. It's kind of camping site, but it's cheaper. There's less stuff. There's no swimming pool or reception and stuff like that. So I use this because I don't need much. And to be honest, I love to stay in the wild. to be just by myself, and that's what I do. But when I go to a camping site, yeah, I Google them and then I call them. Is there space, firstly, and do you have a space for a longer and higher motorhome? Yes, that I do. Yeah, that's I do. I call them. Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So I also know that there's some other challenges that you have in, you and I think we were just about to, we did one show, we're just about to do another, and somebody came knocking at your door, and when they left, they took something that was really valuable and that had meaning to you.
Yeah, I mean, when you live in a motorhome, it can happen everywhere. But it happened to me actually in North Spain, that somebody was knocking on my door asking for help, and they took my arm, and I said no, because when they took my arm, I realized, oh, there's a fraud, and I thought maybe they want to enter my motorhome from the back. They just want to distract me because I was sitting in the front. And I was looking back. I said, no, coming in. And she took my arm a second later. I said, no, go away. And then they ran away. And I know that there was a fraud going on. And I remember I was calling a friend of mine. I said, somebody wanted to try to rob me during the daylight. Actually, it was 4 p.m. in the afternoon. But everything is fine. Nothing happened. And then I realized, oh my gosh, she took my Rolex, my $13,000 from my arm. Yeah, it happens. But it can happen everywhere. It happened to a friend of mine in Vienna, to another one in Munich. It can happen everywhere. It can happen all the time. And yeah, I was a little bit pissed off because this was my first Rolex I bought from my money. It was my first one. I had it more than 30 years. But after a few days, as I said before, I'm not attached to things. It's gone. Somebody else has it. And we all know that karma's a bitch.
Yeah, that's so true, Roland. That's so true. And as I said to you before that day, I just was so appreciative of your attitude, because you were just like, okay, yeah, somebody robbed me, took something really valuable that, as you know, and I know as entrepreneurs, the value of $1. And that's a lot of dollars.
Yeah, when you have to work for the money, it's different. Yeah, absolutely. But, there are other challenges. I mean, of course, when you don't find a space for the night, or it's difficult, especially when you're tired. But what for me is more challenging is, especially when you work remotely, is find a spot where you have a good network. That's one of the challenges, really. That's why I couldn't make the show last week, because there was absolutely almost no network. I guess the upload was 0.8 or 0.9, so no chance for video conference or anything. So that's a challenge that when you work online, or especially when you do live shows like we do, Dr. JACALYN here, USA Global TV and Radio, you really have to really plan. And actually, I guess most of the shows I could do when I was traveling, but sometimes it can happen that there's no network, or there's a thunderstorm coming up. There was a network before the thunderstorm. It can happen. So this is some challenges that when you work remotely, and especially when you need a high volume on gigabytes on data volume, that you have I have two routers. I have two, how do you call it, a router? Yeah, two routers. Router? Yeah.
Yeah.
With an external antenna, so a good one so in every country I travel, I always buy 2 different data SIM cards from 2 different companies. So to make it, I always can choose who or which of the companies in this area has the best network. So I always do this. I always spend this money on that. But something that can happen, there's absolutely no network, or as I said, there's a thunderstorm coming up. There's something there's some challenges, absolutely, especially when you need a lot of data uploading. I know that some people are going to restaurants or this fast food chains. You can use their network, but most of the time you can only use it half an hour or an hour, and it's slowing down when you have a lot of data, especially when I'm uploading videos on YouTube. That's not working. So this is some challenge you have to keep in mind when you work remotely. And I strongly believe, I mean, if you have to upload something, maybe you do it the next day, but when you work online with clients and clients pay you a hell of money, make sure you have a good network and you're not disturbed or disconnected or frozen or whatever. So that's one of the challenges I want to mention, is when you work remotely, is have a good network. And the other thing is, what is really challenging is when you travel alone, can you really stand it to be by yourself? Man, I love it. For me, being alone doesn't mean I'm lonely. I love it. I have to learn it. As I said in the beginning, I was really scared in the beginning because I was always in a relationship. So it was a learning process for me, but I love it, to be honest. And I had a lot of time to think about myself, to face my challenges. less emotion coming up and not going to be distracted and stuff like that. So this was a learning process. So this can be a challenge to be by yourself, especially when you don't feel good, when you get sick. Luckily, I had no issue on that, or you get robbed like I did, and you need somebody to hug you or something. Or you have a nice moment, a nice restaurant, the sunset or something like that, and you cannot share it because you're alone. Well, I have my cat and my dog, but I don't think that I give much on that. But anyway, but it helps me to be honest. It helps me to have the dog and a cat, to be honest. But
Roland,
Yep.
sorry, I thought you were finished. I just wanted to interject because you are traveling with your beloved animals, but you've had some challenges there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But, the cat, the dog disappeared 2 times. The cat disappeared because the cat was pissed off with me because we had to go to a vet clinic. The cat was sick, and so I brought it to the vet, and the cat disappeared for 2 days. So yeah, they are always challenging. Or the cat, because the cat, sorry, during the night he's always outside. Most of the time he's always outside. He's very night active, and comes back for breakfast. And sometimes he was really crying outside like crazy. And then because a fox, it happened 2 times. Once in Portugal and once in Spain, and the fox was attacking the cat. So yeah, there's always some challenges. Yeah, absolutely. But I especially, the cat is nice, it's cool. I got it from my girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. But the dog, I love the dog because it's a huge one. It's very protective, really good. It helps me. Well, it didn't help me with the robbery because the robbery, they made it very smart. There was no aggression when they took my watch, so the dog didn't react. But I remember I had to spend a night in Marseille. I don't know if you heard about it. It's a harbor city in south of France with one of the highest crime rates in Europe. So everybody says you could never go there. You can't leave your car for a minute, even in downtown, doesn't matter. And I had to spend the night there because my engine was broken and I had to wait to bring the part to to replace the parts. So I had to spend the night there. And actually almost every hour somebody tried to break into my motorhome, but the dog was there, was barking like crazy. So nobody was breaking in, but I couldn't sleep. So that's also one thing but breaking in, people can break into a house, people can break into an apartment. That's also some challenges they have to face. What I do is to overcome this challenge is actually in the wild, nothing ever happens in the wild. It's always in villages or in cities. So I avoid large cities, or when I want to visit a city like in Valencia or Spain or something like that, where I know there's a crime rate, I go to an official camping site. But I heard that even people break in on a motorhome on a camping site. So they want to get in, but I try to be as safe as possible. So I go to a camping site, and when I do for example, when I do some sightseeing, or even when I park in a supermarket, when I do grocery, I always leave my dog on my front seats, protect, because everybody sees don't break in. It's not good. So you really have to take care about that. So people can break in. It's easy, and it's easier to break in a camper or in a motorhome than in a house or an apartment. So and it happens very often. So you have to overcome this. But I'm not scared. I mean, it can always happen. It can always happen everywhere. But you have to make sure that, as I said, being alone to overcome this. If you feel, but on the other hand, it can also be challenging to be with your partner, or even with your. I met friends, a young couple, a really nice couple. This VW, this small camper. I mean, it wouldn't be too small for me. There's no kitchen inside, no shower, no toilet, nothing. Just one small bed, and it's a couple with 3 kids. No heating system, no air condition, no cooking system, no shower, no toilet, nothing. But when the weather's nice, you can be outside all the time, but in winter, it's not. So it can also be challenging when you go with your partner. It's a small place, you cannot escape, especially when the weather's bad. When the weather's good, you can go for a hike or for a run or cycling or walking the dog if you have one. But you have to also keep in mind it can be challenging to live together 24 hours, 24/7 on a small space. That can be very challenging too. So there's an advantage.
Yeah, Roland, a question I have for you, because we've done so many shows together, I've never once heard your dog bark. How do you keep your dog quiet?
When the dog is inside and nobody's knocking on the door, he's quiet. She's quiet. But most of the time she's outside. She loves to be outside. And when somebody's coming close, because when you walk down the street, everything is fine. But as soon as I sit longer than 10 minutes in a park or somewhere, it's her territory, and then she starts to protect it. So when she's outside of the motorhome on a leash and somebody's coming closer, she's barking. Yeah, she's protecting. And even when you walk, as long as you walk, it's okay. But when you sit down somewhere for 5-10 minutes, then it's her territory. And it's nice. It's something it's just annoying when she's barking all the time. But when I do the shows, actually right now I'm outside of my auntie, because my auntie, as I said earlier, my auntie had an emergency this morning. So I drove back to her house to take care. She's in my auntie's house right now. But normally she's under the table when I do the shows, and then she's not parking as long as nobody's knocking on the door.
And do you ever have to worry that someone will try and steal your pets? Because there's so many motorhomes close by, people could just take it and run.
Not about stealing, but in the beginning, I was really scared about the cat, because the cat was moving around. So actually, I trained the cat already in Mallorca, because the land was huge, but there was a road. So I always trained her with my own cars and motorbikes to scare the cat the hell when the engine is starting. So the cat is never going close to the road. But when I was on camping sites, sorry, when he gets more and more self-esteem, strolling around, I was scared that he will enter a motorhome, maybe in the garage of a motorhome or storage, a compound, and then people close it and drive away, and they don't have no idea the cat is inside. That was a little bit scared in the beginning. So whenever the cat was coming close to the motorhome, I was screaming at it. And I also told my neighbors when I was on a camping site, if you see the cat, please push her away. Please don't give her food or let her in. Just scream at her so she goes away. So she's scared. That's what but it happened to me in Malaga. Yeah, in Malaga in September, in October. It happened to me in Spain, that there was a huge expedition vehicle, a huge one, a Dutch guy, huge, brand new, cost $1 million. This exhibition guys, it's a 4x4, it's a 6x6. You can go to every destination. It's a huge vehicle, $1 million cost. And he was parking in front of a wall, and my cat was going into the machine and didn't get out. And I told the guy, I said, I'm sorry, my cat is in. He said, yeah, I cannot open the access to the machine because I'm standing in front of the wall, so I cannot open. And if I start if I start the engine, your cat is smashed. And when the cat is smashed, it means they have a damage in the machine that costs you a hell of money. So this guy was really pissed off in the beginning. And it took us 3 hours. We finally found some very bad smelling sardelles with a fish, and we got the cat out. So it's sometimes so I'm not, to answer, I'm not afraid that somebody's stealing my animals, because my dog is not going with anyone as long as I don't allow it, and not stealing the cat. But it can happen that the cat enters somebody and somebody doesn't recognize it and just leaving and have no idea that when they come back, I don't know, 2,000 miles home, there's a cat. Yeah, that's the only thing.
What kind of machine was it that the cat was in?
It was a huge truck. It was a huge truck, really. MAN, a huge truck, a lot of power. It's a 6x6, this exhibition vehicle, a huge truck. And it was inside. And we couldn't open because, with these huge trucks, the motor engine is in front. You open it like this in front. And we couldn't open it because he was standing on the wall. So there was no chance. Okay, I cannot go back, because I go back, I have to start the engine. And when I start the engine, wherever the cat is, it's...
Right.
It's a smoothie,
Yeah, smoothie. Well, that is definitely a challenge I have not heard about before. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because cat love engines because it's warm inside.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Now, you also mentioned, I believe at the top of the show, that you are going to be extending your stay. Originally, I think you started in March and you were going to go to the end of the year. I can't remember. Was it this year or last year?
I started last year. As an end of March, I left the island, the house, and I moved in April in a motorhome. My plan was for a year. And that's the reason why I went to Portugal. I said, maybe I find a property in Portugal, but it's cheaper than on the island, find a cheaper space there. And I found some nice places, but I also found out that I have more gypsy blood than I ever thought. I said, now Portugal is nice, but maybe Italy is better. This is better. I prolonged it, and I to be honest, I don't. After this pandemic, I learned not to make long-term plans. Doesn't make any sense at all. But I would say just right now, if you ask me right now, I would say in the next 3-4 years I will stay in my motorhome. But You never see. Maybe longer, maybe shorter. I don't know. But I love it. I love this lifestyle with all these challenges. I love it. I love this. I'm a free spirit, a free individual. I love it to move around, meet new people. And to be honest, in the van life, you meet a lot of amazing people too. Crazy ones too. Some people you want to see a second time, but also a lot of nice people. That's why I don't like these camping sites. I found one of these quotes, and it says, "I'm retired. I know everything. I can do everything. I know everything, and I have a lot of time to tell you."
I love it. Roland, have you considered at all going to another country where I guess you would ship your vehicle and then I don't know how that works, but is your plan to stay in Europe?
Right now, yes. Actually, before the pandemic started, when I was on the island, I was thinking about it. I already had contact with a shipping company to ship my motorhome from Germany or from Netherlands to Halifax in Canada. This was my plan in 2020, and then the pandemic came. And my plan was actually to travel around 3 months, because I can only go as a European for 3 months to Canada, and then enter the US for 3 months, and then prolong it for another 3 months, so we can have a visa for 3 months and then prolong it for another 3 months, traveling 6 months to US, and then go down to Costa Rica. This was my plan end of 2019 to do it in 2020. Yes, and then everything changed. So right now I'm going to stay in Europe, because Europe is beautiful too. I have no idea, but on the long term, yeah, it would be. I would love to come to Canada and to the US and travel around with the motorhome. Yeah. But right now, I don't know what's going on in the world. It's, as I said, I don't make long-term plans.
Yeah, that makes sense. Very interesting. And from a cost perspective, what does it cost to ship a vehicle like yours to, let's say, to Canada?
Yeah. So in 2020, when I was talking in February 2020, from Europe to Halifax, with the size of my motorhome, it was 5,400 one way. So it's a lot of money, but it's, when you stay a long time, it's cheaper, because to rent a motorhome my size in the US is about $300 a day. So, and to be honest, I can bring all my stuff. It's my motorhome. I can bring everything except food. We're not allowed to bring food from Europe to Canada or the US, but I can bring everything, my own clothes, my own dishes. I can bring everything with me, and it's cheaper. So it's 5,000. It was at the time. It was 3 years ago. It was 5,400 for the shipping, and it takes, I guess, 2 weeks or something. And it's everything organized. So a friend of mine did it. There's a company in Germany they're not cheap, but it's everything organized. You fly there, you get a plan. They organize everything. You don't have any paperwork to do. You go there, you take your motorhome, and you drive. So they do all the customs, everything there. It's well organized.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Wow, that sounds like a cool opportunity for the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So, Roland, we will be coming back next week, and before this show, we'll be doing It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, and I would love if you just shared a little bit about why we're doing that program as well.
Well, I mean, as I said in the beginning, without, there's hundreds of thousands of different kinds of being sick or ill, but there's only one health. Health is the most important thing in my life, and not only because I'm getting older, but when you have some issues, all the money you have it's not fun. It's not fun. So for me, health is one of the most important. Besides freedom, is the most important thing. When you're healthy, you can work. You can be successful in work. You have time and full energy for your friends and family, for your hobbies. You can enjoy your lifestyle, whatever. So for me, health is very, very important. And the thing with health is, there are a lot of trends, a lot of books out, a lot of stuff out. It's easy to stay healthy if you want. It's all about the mindset. Yeah, it's about, are you working out on a daily basis? Are you eating properly? Are you avoiding toxic stuff? It doesn't mean not to eat sweets or ice cream or have a glass of wine, but do you really have it on a daily basis, or just in a few moments and enjoy it? So I guess health is very, very important, and nutrition has a huge impact on health. That's what we know. To be honest, I wouldn't say there is one proper nutrition, because everybody's different. So you have to find out it. And that's what we talk in the show. We talk about health, how to stay healthy. And actually my part in the show is talking about what you can do easily. You have the right mindset, easily, on a daily basis. It's not complicated. It's all about your mindset. And that's what we talk about. And And actually next, we talk about different stuff like eating regional. We talked about fruits and vegetables. We talked about supplementation, because I supplement. I spend every day, I spend money on supplementation, but I don't have to spend any money on doctors or on dentists or everything. So the point is, you spend the money for your health, or you spend the money later for curing. That's what we talk about the show. And actually, next week I want to talk about, if it's okay for you, to check about healing, about how you can heal yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a great subject. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, Roland, we do have your banner up, but for people who are thinking, wow, I really want to contact this man, I want to start working with him, what are the services that you provide, and what's the best way for people to call you or write to you?
Yeah, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, don't be scared about my broad experience, but I have a lot of stuff on that. Yeah, from my main background is a business background. I was running different businesses. I was in the corporate world in the beginning successfully, and then I started different businesses. And with all this experience, my own experience in different businesses, I started a consulting training company 2.5 decades ago in Switzerland. So with my team in 8 languages, we provide services, training, salespeople, management teams, executive coaching, one-to-one coaching, trainings, process optimizations, consulting, stuff like that. That's my main business, what I'm doing. We do it on your site, or we do it face-to-face, but not only for international companies like we did worldwide for Xerox and other companies, but also for startups or single entrepreneurs. We do it also. That's the main business I'm doing. And besides that, I help people who have the same kind of real lifestyle, meaning actually it becomes more and more trendy and more popular because of the pandemic, with all working remotely, home office and stuff like that. So more and more people think about, oh, well, working from home, yes, it's a nice option, but maybe I move also my home to a nice island or a lake or whatever, or even traveling around, or traveling and working in co-working places, I don't know, in Bali, in the US, in the Canary Islands, or like myself, like I did it years ago, or like myself right now, living in a motorhome and working and remotely and living in a motorhome. So if somebody's interested in a lifestyle like this, being more independent and working remotely, whatever kind of business you want to do, or even as an employee, you can do this. You can also contact me. I have a lot of experience with this. We do this on Wireless Life Rocks. So the easiest way to contact me is email. It's the best way. Office at my name, roland.friedl.com. ROLANDFRIEDL, roland.friedl.com. That's my main website, and from there you have a contact form, but you can also link to other websites. Thanks a lot. And yeah, don't hesitate to contact me, and I'm always willing to help, to support, and I love to connect with other people. That's what I love here in USA Global TV and Radio. It's all about sharing, caring, and connect with people. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Roland. Thanks for 2 great shows today, and I wish you a blessed rest of your week, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very looking forward to that. I make sure that I have a good network next week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Sounds good. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone, for watching or listening. Please go over to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio, and please do subscribe. Just a couple of quick announcements that I'd like to make. So my latest book is now available. It's an ebook. It will be available as a paperback and a hardback September 21st, which is the International Day of Listening. And this book is called Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, Solutions for Deeper Connections, Better Relationships, and More Authentic Conversations. It's already become an Amazon #1 best-selling book in the first week of its release. This book includes 2 quizzes, testimonials, as well as case studies. And once you finish the book and you finish the second quiz, you will be directed to send an email so you can get the test answers and join a private community. Won't that be fun? So please do go ahead and place your order for that. As I mentioned, here's a screenshot of Amazon best bestsellers. At this time, it was number 6, but it actually went to number 1. And we have a foreword by Keith Soltoyanis. He's a writer at National Lampoon. He's a best-selling author. He's a founder of the School Improv LA. He's also been seen on Curb Your Enthusiasm. So thank you so much to Keith. And again, the Kindle version is available now. Just go to Amazon, wherever you are in the world, type in my name, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and you'll be able to find it. Our other announcement is that I've been asked to be a VIP speaker at the World Summit on Women and Girls. This is an initiative of Justina Mutali Foundation, Hands Across Philadelphia. So if you are in the United States and you'd like to attend this event, we'd love to have you. It's the 20th through the 22nd of October in Philadelphia. More details to follow. All right. Thank you again. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors as we close out the show. And it's actually Mr. Roland Friedl. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Hello and welcome. My name is Roland Friedl. And maybe as you can recognize from my accent, I'm Austrian. So it's a small country in the middle of Europe, in the heart of Europe. And yeah, I'm 59 years old. I'm a father and a grandfather. And from my business background, after my very short but very successful corporate career, I was the youngest member of board of directors in a huge business, in a huge company. I started my own businesses in different areas, in different industries, and I got a lot of experience, what is working, what is not working. And about 2.5 decades ago, I started a training, coaching, consulting company, Spartan Performance Systems, where I did and still do train and consult international huge businesses worldwide like Xerox and other big players in the world. So we do a lot of sales trainings and management trainings with my team in different languages. That's my main background in business. Besides that, I'm very engaged in men's work and also in the environment. That's my background, to make it short. So to be honest, I'm very curious about what's going on in the world. I love to learn. I love to travel. So my huge passion is traveling. Right now, as you can see the background, I'm sitting in my motorhome. So after 14 years living on a beautiful island, I decided to move into my motorhome and travel to Europe and live and work from my motorhome. So, and I got engaged to USA Global TV and Radio actually a year and around 9-10 months ago. A very good friend of mine, he contacted me and asked me if he can invite me for an interview in USA Global TV and Radio. I guess the show was called The Journey of My Life. And to be honest, in the beginning, I said no, because I had very bad experience on interviews in my business careers. I did it twice for a TV channel in Austria. And then they cut it and edited it. And at the end, my comment was totally different than to the reality I said. So I said in the beginning, no, but I trusted this guy. So they said, okay, let's do it. He told me I don't have to fly to the US. I can do it from my home. That was, at the time, this was his island in Mallorca. So, and it was an amazing, and a beautiful conversation. And then Dr. JACALYN contacted me and asked me if I'm interested in becoming a co-moderator of a show. And so we started the Mallorca Connection, which is a weekly show on Monday, the Mallorca Connection. I got more and more involved. I became an elevated listener because I strongly believe it's important to listen first before you talk. And I had the chance to host and moderate and design my own shows like the Earth Show in the past, the Men shows. I became a talking head, an expert on business topics. So I hosted, moderated, I guess about more than 100, maybe 200, I have no idea, shows on USA Global TV and Radio, and I still do. And finally, we started the It's Your Healthy Lifestyle, a very good show, and we bring a new one on about the planet Earth. Yeah, that's a little bit what I'm doing here on USA Global TV and Radio. So why I'm doing this? First of all, I really love new medias. I love the platform. I love the work that this Dr. JACALYN is doing to educate people. It's all about sharing, caring, and connecting and networking. And the benefit I got out of this in my personal experience, I learned a lot about myself, to be honest. I learned a lot about my strengths in moderating, in hosting, in talking live in front of a video camera. I learned a lot of myself, where are my strengths, where are my weak points that I have to improve. I met a lot of new interesting people. Some of them became friends of mine. actually, after all, it's a hell of work, to be sure. Yes, it is, to be prepared, to invite people for the shows, to find new topics, to do research on the facts. But I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the industry, the media industry. I learned a lot about broadcasting, videos, interviewing. And as I said, I met interesting people, a lot of interesting people, and also made new friends where I'm very happy for that. So yeah, USA Global TV and Radio, it's the platform to connect. It's about sharing and caring. And for me, USA Global TV and Radio is a huge family, and I'm very thankful and grateful for this experience. And yeah, and I guess the best is yet to come. Thanks a lot from Roland from Austria. Thank you. Bye.